Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Eric Parker with One Number, Tableau Education and Consulting Experts, and in today's tutorial, I want to cover 10 Tableau string functions in 10-ish minutes. And if we have time, we'll do a few bonuses at the end. Let's go ahead, dive into this thing. So first function we're going to cover is the left function. The left function gives you the left number of characters at the beginning of a text string that you ask for. So in this example, I've got country, 3-letter country codes, a dash, and the country name. So if I want to create a calculated field to just give me the country code, I'm going to go to my country code and name field, right click, say create calculated field. Okay, I'll call this country code. And the way this will work is I will say, give me the left of the country code field, comma, 3. All right. So now I've got this country code calculation. You can tell it's calculation, got the little equal sign, drag this out to the row shelf before country code and name. Boom. We just got 3 characters. All right. Next up, and related to the left function, would be the mid function. So the idea with the mid function is if you want to grab text in the middle of a text string, then you can do that. All right. So in this case, let's say I just want to get the area code from these phone numbers. So I need the second, third, and fourth characters of this text string only. So I'll hit the drop down on my phone number field, say create calculated field. Call this area code. And what I'll do here is I'll say, give me the mid of my phone number field, comma, 2, starting at the second character. And then I have an option here. I could just put a closing parenthesis, which just give me everything from the second character all the way to the end of my text string. Or if I say, then again, comma, 3, now it's going to grab just 3 characters starting at that second character. So if I drag area code out there ahead of phone number on the row shelf, you can see 101, 102, 104. All right, split and trim. So this is a little combo for 3 and 4. I've worked with text strings like this in the past where you've got like 2 or maybe even 3 dimensional values that are all kind of crammed together at once. So let's say that I just want to get the kind of enlistment rank or enlistment category off the beginning of this text string, like officer, warrant, ensign. All right. So I'm going to do this the longhand way. If you want the shorthanded way, there is a breakout where you can use Tableau's little dialogues to split things for you. Those are really nice. I use those most of the time, but this is an educational video, so I have to show you the long way. So I'm going to create a calculated field. I'll call this, military enlist category. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say split this long text string. And what do I want to split on? What's my delimiter? So I say comma, space. And the last thing is, what's my token number? Or what column do I want? So there's kind of 2 ways to go with this. You can go with positive columns, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can go with negative columns, -1, -2, -3. So since I'm trying to grab just the first column, I want just number 1. So let me show you what that looks like. If I put military enlist category on the row shelf, you can now see I've got ensign, officer, warrant. Okay. And let me just double check something here. I think this might be kind of tough to do. Let me copy this and edit my military enlist category again. I'll paste it in here. Oh, interesting. Okay, I was going to say we may need to trim it. So what trimming would do is it may still be grabbing the space after the word, like ensign space. So instead of 6 characters long, this is 7 characters long. So generally a good idea would be to add the trim function around your split function, and it's going to just basically trim off any leading or trailing spaces in your text string. I don't know if that made a difference in this example, but that is definitely helpful in a lot of scenarios. Okay. The find function. So the find function would allow you to find where a character is. So if you want to find where a dash is, or find a slash, or find a space, it will tell you what character number that occurs at. So if I'm trying to get the length of my customer first name, one way that I could do that is find where the space is. So let's say your name is Adam. That's 4 characters. The space is at the 5th character. So find the space, go back 1 character. That's how long your name is. Okay. So if I create a calculated field, right, so I will say find the space and then -1. Simple as that. Okay. Go put that on text real quick. And some people have made multiple purchases in this data set. They're showing up multiple times. So let me just swap this so we're only seeing the value once. I'm going to ask for the minimum of this. And there you go. Aaron is 5 characters long. Adam is 4 characters long. Alexandra is 10 characters long. Yeah, I think that looks good. All right. Starts with, so this question asks, how many 3M products do we sell? You can see there's some products here where the name starts with 3M. So I'm going to create a quick calculated field. I'll call this 3M products. And the way this function works is I would say, I gotta type it right, starts with, so first thing is what string am I querying? And second, what am I testing it with? Does it start with 3M? So hit OK. Notice it spit out a true or false. So either true, it does start with 3M, or false, it doesn't. Go ahead and just put 3M products on filters, say true, hit OK. And we can see if you look at the status bar down here, we've got exactly 6 products that start with 3M. Next up, the contains function. So the contains function, I use this primarily when I'm trying to search for multiple possible text string values in a string. So in this case, how are our printer and copier sales going? If it was just printer sales, I'll probably just use a wildcard filter. And I'll drop a link to that below if you want to talk about filter types. Because it's printers and copiers, we need to get creative. So I'm going to go to my product name field and create a calculated field. I'll call it printer or copier. And now it'll just look like this. It will say, does the product name contain printer? Okay. Or, I'm going to just be lazy here, copy my first line, paste it down below. Or does it contain copier? Okay. The contains function is not case sensitive, so it could be capital P, lowercase p, whatever. So any product that has the word printer or copier in it will come back as true based on what we've asked for here. So let's go ahead and just drop that on color just to see. And let me just go ahead and expand my product name a little bit. So here's our Canon image class copier, another copier, a printer, a printer. Yeah, you get the idea. Seems to be working. All right. Next up, the length function. So the length function will tell you how long a text string is. So for example, if I'm trying to grab the kind of marriage and children status out of the middle of this, there's actually 3 unique parts to this messed up dimension, right? There's the enlistment category, there's like the marriage and children status, and then there's the gender at the end, okay? So for instance, the way that I would probably think about this if I wanted to get just the middle piece, it's a little tricky because you've got like joint service marriage versus civilian marriage. So like there's potentially 2 words or 3 words. It's not always the same. So one way that I could think about this is, so I've got my military enlist category. Let me go ahead and create a gender field really quickly. So this will just be the, I'll just do this, gender. And I'm just going to say split this field on the space and just give me the final character, or the final column rather, I should say. Okay, so if I look at gender, it should just say male or female. If I look at military enlist category, it should say ensign or officer or warrant. Let me go ahead and just make sure that my gender is trimmed as well, so I'm not getting any spaces that I'm not anticipating. Okay, so last thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask for the length of this entire text string, starting at the middle, you know, roughly where the military enlistment ends and the next thing begins, and then give me the whole length of this minus the length of this minus the length of this, and it should just give me the middle pieces. All right, so this might be an adventure. I screwed this up my first take of this video, so bear with me. So let's create a calculated field. And I'm going to call this, marriage/child status. So give me the middle of our whole big string, starting at the length of the military enlist category plus 1. All right, so let's just start with that just to make sure that this is working. So for instance, this should just give me like civilian marriage female, for instance, I think. Cool, so civilian marriage female, civilian marriage male. You see it's working. It's basically cutting off the first part of the text string and then doing the rest. So now what I need to do is I'm going to edit this. And instead of just cutting it off there, we're going to take this one step further. And what is my length? I want the length of the whole string, okay, minus, let me think about this real quick, minus the length of, well, let's start with, go left to right. So minus the length of the military enlist category, minus the length of the gender. And I think I need to add 2 for the potential spaces, but let's just see what this looks like first. Oh, I'm sorry, I need to add the length around each of these. So like, oh, that's 6 characters. This is 4 characters, you know, so Tableau wants us to be consistent with all of this. Closing parenthesis. All right, let's see what this looks like. I think I may still need to lop off a couple more spaces, but oh, it actually looks pretty good. So I think kind of final thing I could do, this beast of a string, I'm gonna go ahead and just wrap this whole thing in the trim function, and it should hopefully, yeah, there you go. As you can see, I got rid of a little leading space there. Looks good, okay? A couple last ones here, replace. So the replace function, if you ever want to replace, you know, one value with another, like, oh, this company that we sell rebranded from Eldon to ENDSWITH. How do we do this? Okay, so I'll create a calculated field. This will be called product name update. And I will just say replace. Oh, got a little aggressive there. Replacing the product name. What do I want to replace? First of all, I want to replace anywhere it says Eldon. What do I want to replace that with? ENDSWITH. So let's put these side by side, and I'm going to filter on the original product name. And I'm just going to search and say, hey, you know, does it contain the word Eldon? All right, and now you can see that all of these Eldon products, the Eldon 300 class is now the ENDSWITH 300 class. So that seems to be working. Okay. And finally, the string function. The string function would allow you to convert, you know, non-string values, primarily numbers, into strings in order to be able to kind of incorporate them or combine them together. So if I want to get my country code and name and number all in one big string, I need to combine them. So I'm going to create a calculated field. I'll call it country code, name, and number. So country code and name, that's 1 bit. Plus, I'm going to put an opening parenthesis, a space and an opening parenthesis in quotes. Plus, it's going to get mad at me, but I'll just go ahead and throw a country ID in here. Plus, closing parenthesis in quotes. So what's Tableau up to here? It says, hey, you can't add string and integer values. Everything needs to be a string to come up with kind of a big concatenated text field, or everything needs to be a number to come up with a numeric output. So I'm just going to tell Tableau, hey, actually, it's a string field. So that code, just think about that like a number, throw it in here. Okay. And let's see what this looks like. Throw it on the row shelf. There we go. Got ABW Aruba parentheses 533. Looks the way we want. Okay, so those are our 10 string functions in just a little bit over 10 minutes. I've got a few honorable mentions here I'm going to dive into, but before we do that, I just want to say that we have a workshop coming up in a few weeks here, if you're watching this in real time. It's called Mastering Tableau Calculations. It's going to be 8 hours of just diving deep on all this stuff. So if you're like, give me more of this, we'll keep doing YouTube videos, but also you can come to that training. You can come to that training and join us there where we're going to do a deep dive. I'll be teaching live, interacting, doing hands-on practices. It'll be a great time to be able to really grow our skill sets and all this kind of stuff. All right, so on to the honorable mentions, the string functions, which didn't make the top 10, but we should still at least give a brief mention to FINDNTH. So the find function, we said find the space. So it found the first space and it said, this is the 5th character or the 7th character. FINDNTH would allow you to say find the 2nd space, find the 3rd space. Okay, so that can be pretty helpful in more advanced string functions. ENDSWITH is like the sibling of STARTSWITH. If you want to say ends with such and such character code, you can do that. The character function allows you, or CHAR allows you to input ASCII characters. Really, if there's any one takeaway from this, character 10 incorporates a line break into your string output. So if you want to have like city, comma, and then on the second line state for formatting purposes, you can say, you know, the city, comma, plus car 10 plus state, and it will break it into 2 lines. Lower and upper convert all of your text into either lowercase or uppercase. So if you're trying to, you know, make the look and feel of your text consistent for your end user, you can use those. Min-max, those can be used for text values as well as numeric values, right? So if you have a list of countries, you might say min country and it gives you Afghanistan. And you might say max country and it gives you Zimbabwe. So the min will be the first value alphabetically, and the max will be the last value alphabetically. Okay. And then the right function is very similar to the left function. If you want to say, like, give me the right 2 characters or the right 4 characters, this could be the last several characters from a text string. So, all right, I hope this has been helpful. Please do hit us up with questions in the comments or suggestions for other videos or things you want to dive deeper on. We make weekly content, and we're happy to continue to create content that is the most helpful for you. So thank you for following along. We hope to catch you at a video or a training soon, and we'll catch you around the bend.